Oh man. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back, episode 15 here, and we got Mr. Colin Bowden and Ryan O'Connor. We had to move it back a day. Had a lot going on. Started a new job this week, so thank you guys for bearing with me. Thanks everybody for the support for the show. All the push that everybody's given me and everything like that. I've really appreciated it. It's been great, and I've been really looking forward to talking to these two guys because I feel like I've I don't know them that well, but I've known of them for a long time, and they're just a good group of guys. So laid back, and they know how to win some races. So um, I think that bringing them on as a duo, like I always do, was an absolute must. And I didn't really have a choice but to bring Ryan or Tim on with Mr. Colin Bowden. So I think it's going to be a good one, and I'm excited for to see what comes out of it. So, and now without any further wait, we've got Mr. Bowden waiting already. And can everybody hear me good? I know Colin can hear me, but I want to make sure you guys can hear me. Can I get some thumbs up? I know there's some of you watching and stuff like that, but I need to know everybody can hear me good and see me good. So before I bring Colin on, I just want to make sure. Thumbs up, hey, what's up, something. And also, I will be out at Saluda tomorrow night. So I was going to come to the Margarettsville VDK race, but I have to work tomorrow. So I'm not going to make it out there. I will be looking forward to seeing who is sitting in victory lane in some races. So you guys tag us if you want to. We'll share your results and stuff like that, and we'll kind of go from there. It's going to be a good race, and I'm excited to be at Saluda tomorrow night with so many different people, guests that I've had on, and meeting new people. So it'll be pretty cool. All right. Well, I got a like, so I'm assuming everybody can hear me. We'll go with that. And now, without any further wait, Mr. Colin Bowden.
What's that?
What's up? All right, man. Thanks for coming on here. It's I had you in mind a little while back, but I've had to kind of pace myself on how I've been doing it. So I knew I wanted you on here, but thanks for waiting and thanks
Yeah,
for coming on.
no problem. Glad to be here.
So I want to start off by kind of just getting out of the way. I think most people know, but I've had so many different guests and stuff on here. We've got a little bit of a wide variety of an audience. Ooh, sorry, I've got to sneeze. Um, how you got into karting? What introduced you into karting? I mean,
It started with Dylan, Dylan Brockwell. He was he raced go karts, and I never even heard really anything of it. I knew Dylan and Josh Ayer, and we was working on plans to come out and help them or just come watch or whatever, because I had no idea what uh, go kart racing was, what anything like that was. I had no idea like what it is. And then, happened with Dylan, and then never got to correct him, but I got to come out with Josh 2016. That was the first time I went to a go kart race. And watched him race, I think it was like a PKA race, something like that. Helped him around, got a basic hopped in a go kart after it when the racing was over, just made some laps. That was my first race at a go kart track. I helped him throughout 2016 kart for myself. I think in July of that year, and that's when I started racing.
and now where you are now, Mister. How many? I think you got one Maxis National Championship, right?
Yeah, it's just one.
But you've got that's one more than me. So I can't. I've never won one, and I don't think I ever will. But it's an incredible thing to win, man. It's to think about the start that you got, where why you got into karting, and it's pretty incredible to say that that you won a Maxis National Championship.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I said, about where we started, winning that caliber race. I mean, there's big races, months out of the year, yeah, those, but just those races are really big, and someone like me, you don't really expect I mean, you like to think to win or go think, but to actually win a race of that with the caliber of people, you know, it was pretty unexpected. Uh, just it was fun thing to go through. Fun to do.
Yeah, I think they got the quote, like you said, of you saying guys like me aren't supposed to win races like this.
That's for sure. You know, when you hear people ask about who's going to win this race, who's going to win that race, I can guarantee you my name was probably never mentioned in that race. Who could win that race? So it's just pretty cool to, one for the little guys, so to speak.
I mean, I think after that race, though, your name kind of started popping up quite a bit. If I'm being honest, you were my pick in, excuse me, in a couple races and the bigger races that I can remember. And what does it mean for you to say that somebody is picking you now after winning that race? Somebody is picking you now to go out and maybe win the Brockwell Memorial, or maybe win, some other, maybe one of the limited classes at the Big O or the Big O or something like that. Like, it's not it's not out of the question. After you win a Maxis National Championship, it's not out of the question.
I mean, it's cool for them to think that. I try to stay pretty. I'll probably tell them, I'm gonna disappoint you if you're picking me to win the race or something, like that. But I mean, it's just always nice to, hey, people think, hey, you're good enough or have the ability with everything. If something goes right, you can win this race. So I mean, it's always just nice to hear. I would say.
And let me ask you another question. A little bit of a change of subject. How did the mullet come along? What made you decide on the mullet?
I really don't know, man. It was just coming. Just I guess just saw a couple people. Not really at the go kart track or anything. Just saw it come back, and I said, "Man, I could probably pull that off." And I think I'd pull it off pretty well. I mean, I don't know how long we're going to grow it, how long we're going to keep it, but it's going pretty good right now. So keep going for a while long till
Yeah, it's a
something.
pretty strong mullet you got there, man. That thing's
Yeah,
pretty next level.
yeah. At Dixieland, um, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Larry took me on track and said I need to tuck my hair in. So I don't,
Uh,
I don't know if I need to start putting it in a hair tie or what, but we'll keep letting her fly as long as we can, I guess.
have you bet against your mullet yet? That you told anybody maybe like if you beat me in this race or something, I'll shave it.
No, because if I made that bet, it'll probably get shaved that night. So we're bets. We never bet the mullet on there. It's that sacred ground.
The mullet is sacred ground, yeah, for sure. Especially at the racetrack of all places.
Yeah, it's 2 years to grow this far out, so we just don't want to start over now.
So I think my next question, is we've seen you around the racetrack. We've seen you run different races, and most recently that I've been at, you won that. I think you won both of the VDK races in Animal,
Yeah.
Pro, and Sprint. But what kind of plans do you have, for the rest of the year?
Um, I wouldn't say I have a definitive schedule on what to run. There's no really series I'm running for this year. It's more so of it's just a feeling of I want to race where Ryan's racing at. Go with him. He might like he's going to be not going to race, but he wherever next week. I want to do be like, hey, I'm race with you next. Really set in stone. I'm doing here.
I got you. And what has it been like for you to be around the O'Connors?
Oh, it's been abusive. It's been torture. I'm just kidding. It's been fun to be around to Ryan and both Tim. I mean, they've been so long. I don't know how long they've been car racing. I know they've been at least junior one or two, I think. So just to have two with that much, not really knowledge is important. Just the willingness to help me. I mean, neither one of them, nobody either. Ryan, Tim, Josh, any of them, they have had no reason to help me. Help you run with me. We're getting right. That goes as far as where I'm at. I had to do all of this.
Yeah, and do you think that those two guys, what kind of impact do you think those two guys have had on the direction that your career is taking? Because you kind of jumped right into karts and started winning, like not like immediately, but you were pretty fast right out of the gate. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed with just how fast you jumped right in and went on.
I mean, when you join those two, and they're winning races and they know what they're doing, that and when you buy the good stuff and you have the quality stuff that you need, you got the stuff to win the race. If you don't run good, you need to start looking in the mirror, and be like, all right, it's my problem. So you get with them, and they're doing everything to make sure you're successful. So it takes a lot off of me, where I don't focus on tires, go kart. I just focus on how do I get better as a driver? What do I need to do driving wise to make the speed that's already here?
Yeah, so I think working with those two off the track has been great. But has there been anybody that's at the track had a big impact on you on the race, like on the track, the way you model your style after, the way you drive after, maybe something like that, that you watched them race for long enough and you kind of started driving just like that?
I don't think there's anyone really I model my style after, because I there wasn't there wasn't many races I watched before I started racing. I just watch different people, like different things they do. No, like I want to drive like this. I want to drive like that. It's kind of just I made my own, like, path, you would say, and just felt it myself, and then just try and remember certain situations that people got in to put themselves stuff to do like that. No, not really any. I guess would say driving style like that. Yeah.
So, not even Jeff Gordon.
I mean, Jeff in his
You could have
younger
said Jeff.
40. If I could model myself like that, I think I've been doing a little more winning now than I used to be, or than I am doing. But yeah, I mean, it's just hard to say. Everyone can say, hey, drive like Dale Earnhardt or Jeff Gordon or Kyle Larson. Now, model yourself. I'm gonna drive. It's completely different. You can think you're gonna try to do that, but in my mind, it's just, you're your own person. You got to do your own thing. You can't, like Larson, dirt track race, gets up on the cushion, but you can't get on a go kart, get up on the cushion, and be aggressive. It's just a driving style of me that
I was just curious. Some guys say, they might model themselves at, not like I drive like Jeff Gordon, but like I model myself after Jeff Gordon because I watched him for
yeah.
20 years or something like that. But as far as, I've seen quite a few of your races, and I think a lot of your style has come from a mix of Josh and Ryan and Tim.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you got kind of the right mix going on, and it's it's an impressive group you guys have going on, like
Yeah,
between all of you.
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, with everybody that races, out of the trailer, and that Ryan helps, we got a big group of people. I think from give or take any weekend, I think the least we would have running with us is probably three, and sometimes most is six, seven. Like you said, it's a mixture of people all fighting for the same goal of just being successful, making speed, winning races.
Yeah, I think that the push that all you guys have, all of you have that drive, the desire to not just run good, but to win every time you touch the track. And I think that you guys are a really strong group to do that. Like I said, so just from me to you, keep it up, and I think it's very impressive what you guys are doing.
Yeah,
Um,
the direction. It's nothing to complain about. It's a fun time going to the racetrack.
it's a lot of racing.
Yeah,
Now,
it's definitely a lot of racing. I'm probably not racing this as much this year as I did the year before last. I mean, I don't 2 weekends out of every month is good enough for me. I definitely don't like racing. Every weekend of every month and traveling up and down every weekend. Me personally, I like to break every now and then, but 2, 3 weekends a month I mean, I enjoy it.
now, what about we've covered your kart racing. I'm curious about your iRacing. How's that going?
Yeah, we want to talk about something I'm sporty at. Now we talk iRacing. There we go. I mean, that's my forte right there. I guess you could say I'm an iRacer in a go kart world or something like that. But yeah, it's going pretty good. Every now and then, there's real big races on that you can kind of relate to as a I guess a Max's National. Like this week, Landon Catholic Park Kligerman, they're putting on it's a throwback race, Firecracker 400 they call it, and it's the old '87 cars at Daytona. Um, like a lot of the Pro Series drivers show for it. Kyle Busch was entered for it. Dale Jr. was entered for it. So you can kind of relate those two to the same thing. You know, it's one of the biggest iRacing races all year, and you compare that, get the same feelings, same people say, hey, there's some guys here with me, but you know, I got a chance to win the race, just like
Yeah, I might actually could use some tips on the iRacing thing.
I
So
got.
I might get up with you that separately. I'll get up with you about that. But um, what has it been like for you to get that seat time away from karting? I mean, seat time's just desperately important. And I know you said you like to race about 2 weekends out of the month.
Uh-huh.
So what has it been like for you to stay? Have you learned a lot on iRacing to keep yourself almost in the seat?
Yeah, I would say iRacing, helped me a lot the with the starting career because I didn't race anything up until 2016. Other than going to an AIK or anything, that's the only racing experience I had of actual race car, say, other than playing iRacing, PlayStation before that, and iRacing it doesn't give you the seat of the pants feel, but it gives you the idea of hey, the car loose. What do I need to do? The car tight. This is what it feels like. The general feel. Gas here when it's loose. Hit the brake. It gave me the I guess you could say groundwork then go kart to basic idea of what was going to happen and what I needed to do.
Is there a specific thing that you remember driving that was more relatable to you? Like for a go kart that was maybe like a late model or something because of the way it drove?
Uh, it, it's just hard to say um what drives go kart because a lot of things when a track is slicked off or whatever, the go kart can drive a lot like a car or something to me like on a dirt track. But when a go kart track gets gripped up, there's not a lot of things I feel like on iRacing that you can relate to because a lot of times when you go kart racing, you're full throttle and you maybe drag a little brake or just lift for a split second and then back in. There's not a lot of dirt track on that racing that can relate to that.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like a USAC asphalt midget or something like that, but that's about it because of the level of bite that you get.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to compare anything to a kart because kart racing is a whole nother level of bite that people don't get to experience very often.
Yeah, that's what a lot of say. You wouldn't believe the feeling of a go kart going around a dirt track of how aggressive that is and the feeling it is.
So before we get Ryan on here, he's over here, he's ready to go. I wanted to ask you, what's your best other than the Maxis National Championship? Okay, we'll call that tops. Okay, what's your best memory in karting since you started?
Uh, I guess I would say probably the first time I won, I was with Ryan and Corey Roberts. We had a three wide finish for the win in that race. I was able to sneak by both of them. I guess you could say that was pretty fun time and winning the winning the Williamston race. That's always fun to me. I love going to Williamston. I love racing that place. That's head and shoulders my favorite place to go to. So anytime I can win or run, you just even run Williamston is a fun time for me.
That's pretty awesome. And hold on one second, Ryan, can you hear me? Oh, yep, there he is. Can you hear me good? Yep, I got you. So, Colin, before I bring Ryan on here, is there anything you want to air out? Like maybe we can get a little dirt on Ryan, so I can
He's
get.
just He's just a clown. That's all. That's all he need
He's
air
just a
out of that.
clown.
But a clown.
All right. So, Mr. Ryan O'Connor waiting down here. We're going to go ahead and bring him on, get a little bit of time with these two together, and see if maybe we can bring some stuff out of both of you guys together. I'm sure Ryan's got some dirt on you too. I got to ask him.
Oh yeah.
Uh, there's not much to say about that guy. He'll let you know himself. All you gotta do is listen for 5 or so minutes, and you'll know enough.
So, I asked Colin, what it was like, what it meant to him to be able to run with you guys, and all the time you guys have spent racing. You and your brother have grown up around the racing world. What has it been like for you guys to be able to hang out and not necessarily learn from, but like kind of bring Colin up into the karting world?
It's been a fun experience. I mean, we definitely had our ups and downs. Track, running good, running bad. But overall, it's been great. To see him progress from the first time he went out to the kart and really had no idea what. Because like he had said before, his own racing, so he got there like anticipating a dirt car, maybe an asphalt car, and uh, now he can run with the best of them. So it's been fun.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And do you guys have a favorite memory as a team, like maybe a day where all of you guys kind of just took off and swept a day or something like that?
I think Williamston's been our best as far as team. Everyone winning, everyone running good. Like Colin said, that's always a fun race. To get there and it was a real good time.
Yeah, I got to throw the jab in. We went, like he said, we went to Williamson, and everyone won hot. So that's down.
Oh, denied the sweep. So I had a really good question and I lost it, but I'm going to move on to another one, so it's okay. Um, with he mentioned the three wide finish as his favorite race with you guys, like for just in general for him, other than the Max's national championship. I told him to cut that one. That's head and shoulders above the rest. Have you got a race that you two have ran together that I know obviously he was in that race you mentioned, but Ryan, have you got a race that you guys have ran together that's kind of sticks out for you that you had a lot of fun with?
We ran the Champ Car class together at Williamson. That was a real fun one. Um, we also ran. We really ran together a whole like Saturday night stuff. Last year we got to run together. Uh, I wouldn't other than Williams. That was a good together. Wanting to work together, kind of felt like I was ready. Out there just wanting to work together, having you can trust that at least they're going to work with to the best of their ability.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I've never been to Williamston, never watched a race at Williamston, never raced at Williamston. I've wanted to go every single year, and something comes up every single time.
It's
You
a quality time. Highly recommend.
Well, if everything goes according to plan this year, I'll come catch you guys in the pits. So I'll make sure I find you guys since you
Good day.
guys are the experts at Williamston.
Oh,
So
yeah.
with with somebody like Colin, people look at Colin and people look at you, and you guys are a little bit wild and out sometimes. You're not the most calm team, and this is coming from me, and I know exactly how it feels. Believe me. But what is it like for you guys? Is there a time when you're like, maybe we need to dial it down a little bit and just kind of mellow out, or is it kind of like, no, I'm having fun. Let's just keep doing what we're doing.
I'm kind of a little worried. Goes racetrack and he ain't hooting and hollering and throwing something. Wonder if he's all right. To be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always been kind of passionate about it. Just all the work that goes into it. So, a lot of people work on stuff. So, some people under level, work mistakes and all everything. But you also got a lot of people that don't understand. exactly the time put into it. So I mean that drives my passion a bit, versus just a guy that drives. Uh, Colin's kind of got to see that. You know, he don't work stuff a lot. That's how he takes care of everything. He gets to see that side of it. You know, just understanding how much time and everything goes into it.
Yeah, and being competitive at the level that you know that you guys are. First off, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of kind of learning. Fail. You got to fail before you can succeed. So, what did the process look like for you guys, where you were coming up to where you are now, and maybe not on the driving side, Colin, you had to learn a little bit, but like on the speed side, was it come in the pits and we missed the tires again, and I should have went this way, and I should have listened. Maybe Colin says I should have listened to Ryan, or Ryan, you should have listened to Colin, or vice versa. Was there like a long process on that, or did you guys kind of just click together as a team?
It's
Uh,
kind of every week process of I come in, I get cussed at for what I did wrong and what I didn't do right. I mean, it's from day one to now. That process hasn't changed. I get cussed at pretty much every weekend on what I'm doing wrong, what I need to do better from Ryan.
um, yeah, I mean, learning with him has been a different experience. Learning everything on my own was a process itself. So uh, I always like to go to the racetrack with uh, Corey or whoever off weekends and see what their processes were. Try to get as much knowledge as I could from people who had experience and try to make myself just being able to relay that to someone and everybody. I wouldn't say it's been a struggle, but it's kind of changes exactly what they need, uh, what they want to feel because each driver has a different feel too. Some people like to be racetrack and some people be on the loose side of things. Other drivers just don't care fast. So, learning that a process.
So the apparently whatever you guys are doing is working. So that process has been a success. All the time and effort that you guys put in as a team, as a full team, has really paid off. Is there any area I'd say, we are always looking at, you're laying everything out and you're like, I need to get better at this, and this. And I'm not going to touch this because I'm good at that right now. Is there an area where you say maybe you guys need to work a little bit harder on it, like focus a little bit more?
Um, Getting like qualifying, I would say if we don't load fast, catch weeks where you unload and you're just fast, from the first time you hit the racetrack, nice, and most of the time you need to carry it throughout the day. But then you got your where you unload and you're a little bit racetrack's a little bit how it was going to be, and then you struggle and qualify a bit. Yeah, you end up for the races, but it doesn't much matter. Qualified, not where you not in a position. So I would say that's uh, the area that we need probably.
I agree with that.
I thought he might have had a little more to say, but he's
I mean,
just
hit nail on the head, really. Like sometimes you unload and you can't put a bad set of tires fast no matter what, and then sometimes you unload and you can be there for 5 days and you still don't find nothing worth any speed. So
so. We got a couple minutes before I get some time with Ryan, but I wanted to ask the two of you together: um, is there a moment? Maybe I'll let Colin go first. Is there a moment to you, Colin, that has really made a world of difference for you working with Ryan? Like that you remember? Maybe something he said, some piece of advice he gave you, or something like that.
I don't think there was ever one particular moment that's been I guess a catcher of an or whatever. It was just the whole process has been a big deal. From the start of him giving me a go kart to race, to selling me go karts, doing the tire, scaling the go karts, all of that has been it's just as important one individual moment. I think.
I could see that, and I think that you're, you know, not everybody's going to have those moments when you're like, you come off the track and you're going to get this amazing piece of advice, and you're going to just take right off after that.
Yeah,
So,
the advice I get coming off the racetrack, I don't think we could say on here what that advice usually is.
I mean, probably not a good idea, but
Yeah.
so, you heard what I asked Colin, Ryan. Is there any moment that maybe, it was a little different for Colin coming in a little after you guys, since you guys came up for so long in karting. But is there a moment working with Colin where you're like, this guy's really helped out, and like that moment right there just really stuck out to me, what he's meant to our team and meant to me.
Yeah. So I mean, kind of like he said, getting him to understand, and then once it finally did start clicking on a more weekly basis. When he first started, good speed, but it wasn't the thing. So, but once we finally got to where we were consistently fast, it was a big help since just kind of relaying him for other drivers. Uh, that he didn't have any speaking in his ear, go kart wise, before he started with us. I would say them to do things or what I in the feel of a go kart. If he can come on, tell me in my turn what I want, and he the whole team out there if I can't visually see it myself.
Yeah, I think that. So basically, you guys are pretty similar in the way you're thinking. It's a whole process, and the process as a whole has just been a really important thing to you. And that, I think that's had a big impact on why you guys have been racing together as long as you have, and why your team is so just sturdy. You guys have a really strong team all the way around. Whether you guys bring in somebody like Colin James to run with you guys, or whether it's Colin's racing a bunch of classes, or you're running some classes, or I don't know if Tim's really running with you guys anymore, but he's always there with you guys. And then you got Josh.
Yeah,
And you guys are like, that's a really strong team to put together. So I think that looking at as a whole is a good way to look at it, and it's a learning experience as a whole. You don't learn just one thing; you learn something every time you go to the track.
that's right.
I agree.
So,
Yep.
and Colin, by the way, are you hearing Ryan okay? Is he patchy or is he clear for you?
He's a little patchy for me sometimes, and sometimes I can make out most of those
It's almost like you got your helmet on and you're just picking out what he's saying anyway, right?
things. Yeah, picking a I want to listen to him. That's about it. We can.
You just nod your head and agree.
Yeah, we're like, yep. He's done talking. Yep. All right.
Lips stop moving. Okay, we're good. He's smiling. We're fine. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get a little bit of time with Ryan here. So thanks so much, Colin, for coming on here, and we really appreciate the support for the show. You guys coming on is support for the show, but we always try and tell everybody, and I say it every time I go live for announcements and things like that. The show is for everybody. It's for you guys too, to promote and let everybody get to know you a little bit and things like that. So thanks for coming on here, Colin. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, see you, man.
See you.
All right, Mr. O'Connor. I've known you for a long time, and I've never had more than a 30-second conversation with you. I've
Yeah,
known
that
you
sounds
since you
about
ran,
right.
since you've been in Junior 2. I remember you running Junior 2.
Yeah, those are
And
the good old days.
yeah, and I remember you running Junior 3 with your brother
Yeah,
with those Terminator carts, those exact carts looking alike,
yeah,
down at Liberty even.
yeah, yeah. We loved Liberty back in the day. That was a
Yeah, me
real fun
too.
place.
I miss that racetrack. I'm
Yeah,
like, they still race, but I haven't been there in years.
right.
So I'm going to start off and ask you the same question I asked Colin. How did you get your start in karting? Oh, hold on, I can't hear you.
Oh,
Oh, it was muted. All right, now I can hear you.
you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you now. It was
Okay,
muted for some reason.
I got you. So my dad was back in the '90s, and then growing up, we rode stuff just hard, uh, and got the idea to take a dirt bike track, try it out. And we went there, and I mean, I was 5, uh, and it didn't go all that well. Yeah, maybe we take up the dirt bike racing thing. So the next week, he was like, "Go kart track." Grew up racing. We were like, "Yeah, sure." It was Capital City to watch one Saturday. Uh, it looked like a fun. The next week, you guys want to get it? He went talked to a guy that he used to know real well. He well known around. Uh, he with Ted Kart Shop at the so got a cart from kind of got the he's with racing. So been doing it ever since 2006.
So you started in 2006.
Yes, sir.
You started in Junior One in 2006 or Junior Two?
I was junior one and Tim was running junior two. But we started. We had cart and we ran the same motor and we restrictor plate every time. And then after probably 6 months or so, my dad he bought a flat cart. Tim would run the flat cart in junior two, and I would run the camp cart in junior one. So,
So, do you think that running that champ cart all those years? Because I myself didn't run one until I was about 23 or 24. Do you think running that champ cart those years really set you up for being as good as you are in the champ carts today?
yeah, I mean it's definitely a different deal. So, um, kind of what everyone told me when I was growing up is, once you learn a champ cart, you kind of got that, but it's not as easy to relay the same driving style to a flat cart versus if you run a flat cart all the time, it's easier to relay a champ cart. So, it's just learning the feel of a champ cart uh, for today's time because I don't really run a whole lot of any people that run with me. They do Colin and John. So just knowing what you're looking for, knowing the feel that you're looking for, that's definitely a big deal. So yeah, I would definitely say,
Yeah, and if nothing else, it's helped you be able to relay information to guys that are running the champ carts because you've got the experience that you know all those years of running a champ cart on and off, depending on you don't run it like you said as much right now, but you have all that experience in a champ cart. So somebody could come up to you and be running a champ cart for the first time, and you could relay a lot more information than a lot of other people could, just simply because of that time. So
right.
I think, yeah, I think that's a big benefit to have, and that's a not a lot of people have that little chip in their pocket. You got that one little chip in your pocket for Champ Card. That's a big chip to have.
Yeah, is that?
I think you and Corey both have that chip though.
Yeah, yeah. He was active, help kind of learn sportsman champ, and then we ran some junior, started running flat carts more. We got not, but we didn't run when we started moving back out classes. We started getting kart racing. Uh, Corey was a going to the like I said, going to the racetrack. Uh, how him and his dad did things, just learning what kind of I was really looking for, for different conditions, different tracks. So that was a sure.
Now, if you had if you had to say there was a track that taught you more than any other racetrack, what would you say it is?
I like Nisus. Unfortunately, not a racetrack anymore. We don't run there at least. Want to say they made it something, but uh, that's where they used to have that, and that was really a driver track. You had to start, but also but wide open. Really had to, or know how to use the brake well. So that was always fun.
Yeah, Nice's. So there's a lot of different racetracks people could say that they learned more than any other time that they've been racing. Mine personally is Amelia or Brunswick. Amelia was a different kind of racetrack. It was a not a driver's track, but it was a weird shape racetrack. It was like a D. Not everybody could figure it out,
Right.
but it's it's good to have that in your pocket that you learn from different racetracks and different things and stuff like that. So, um, I I was trying to think of what the race. Oh, Providence. Have you guys raced out there a whole lot?
Yeah. Actually, I ran there one of the first weeks that it opened, and clones were just out at the time, or they were just allowing people to. So it was the first time that we went on motor, and first time that we had went to Providence. It was a definitely that's also a driver's track. Just shape of it, that really doesn't get bid up. That some racetracks do. Um, they definitely it's a different type of field. Dirt. Um, that's a we went back there for the years, and then we went back study this year. Went for Dream in the fall.
Yeah, I think the Providence is a really fun racetrack. Like you said, it's a driver's racetrack. It's your equipment is extremely important, but who you have behind the wheel at Providence is one of the more important things, more so than most racetracks you're going to go to for some reason, because it is a very very tricky racetrack. You really have to be on your p's and q's on the pedals and on watch your hands.
Right.
And you're in really tight quarters too. It's not like you got 3 lanes wide to race.
That's right.
So when you're looking back, is there a race for you that maybe you ran? I know you've ran for people like Brian Bradford and guys like that. Like, is there a race for you that really stuck out as like this is a turning point for me? This could be something that like I could really jump out in front of and be really good at.
Yeah. So the first adult races I and just moving up to the adult class, capital city. It was for the spring goblet race, one of their summer races. Uh, so I was running animal class that day, pro animal. Everyone came in, and so Scotty Page, Armstrong, Ash, and he, I think Corey fifth, and we were all running together. But that was definitely a time, I felt because moving out class, just race with us, they've done so. Um, After that, I was kind of thinking that this was something I definitely could, but just needed a racing with that experience, kind of how their thoughts were throughout the race. Um, but that was
Yeah, I think we all have that moment. Kind of, we look back and we say that was the moment right there that I could have either you did take it or you didn't take it from there. So I think you definitely, if that was your moment, you definitely took it and you ran with it because the races that you guys have won, just you in particular have won, and that you've come through and you've been so fast so many times, and I can't even tell you all the races that I've seen you running up front, but it's been impressive. And I told Colin the same thing. It's been impressive for you guys to all come together because you're all individually fast no matter what you do or where you go. So I
right.
think that speaks volumes to again how sturdy your team is. So just don't ever forget that too. Just how good of a team you have around you, how important that is. So
Yeah, definitely been a blessing. All the drivers that run, then Chubbs runs with me every now and again. Not running for Bradford if they have an off weekend. Bradford can't make it. But just being able to being I I ran with Jerry Mullis, just learning from really helped develop as a driver, and um, that they run uh, set me up for what I'm in now. Um, with Colin goes, he runs with fast thumbs. He kind of sees the way that they do, that develop. Josh has been for a while, so got the background. He does his own thing sometimes, so it's nice to see like you said, run fast and be able to run as the team, go to a event, show out, or even if just being up speak for itself.
yeah, I think that you guys as a team is your best bet because you all know everybody knows when you guys roll up as a team who they got to beat for the day. So you guys are always really good. But I also wanted to ask you, about your brother Tim. I know Tim drove for Todd a couple times. I don't know how long he was driving for him. I just remember him down in Margarettsville specifically. What was it like? What's it like for you to be able to bounce things off of your brother and say, what do you think about this? Or I'm doing this. Or, he can come to you and say, try this. Because he has been around some really incredible people also. Like, do you think that having a brother like Tim has made a huge impact on your career also?
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, being able to just bounce ideas off of him, and we don't run together a whole lot anymore. He drives for Shane Pass right now, but before the 2 years, he was racing for Buck, but kind of at the helm on tires and stuff. And, he was doing his own tires back when we raced together. Billy started racing, so he's background. Um, Now that he runs with, gets to work with, kind of get to everything. He, that he was adult class. Um, there's been some good steps away for him to fight enough. So it definitely is very cool at the racetrack. Guy that no matter what he because it's the same way for him. If I can race, I'd rather something else. I think it's the same way for him. So if I'm off, what good I can say, hey, what do I need to do? Can you give me something, shoot me in the right direction? Um, because I'm missing just a little bit or maybe off. It's very helpful.
Yeah, I've looked at you guys as the ultimate like brother combination in karting. Not many people have a brother that they can say, either one of you can go to the other, and it's good information to get, regardless, because of the people you've been around, the people you've helped, the people that you've had driving with you, the the races that you've won, the places that you've been, different things that you've done. So I think that as a combination, the two of you has been from the time the earliest time I remember watching you guys is at Liberty, like I said, when you guys were in junior three. But from that time to now, you guys have still just been this team that has just been, even though you're not a team, you're still like, I look at you and your brother as a team.
Right,
So I think that's a pretty cool thing to have in the racing world because you don't see it that often.
right, absolutely.
So I think we got time for a couple more questions. So I think I asked Colin this question too. Is there for you, what kind of plans do you have for the year?
Um, I'm running uh, the Goat Series, some WK, depending on where they're located at BDK and everything. Um, the plan is just to be consistent as I can be, week in and week out. That's helpful. Every week you're in a position to win or be competitive, run up front with everyone. It gives you the confidence that you come into the next week. You can get into a rhythm of what you do at the race. Um, you're real good this week, carry that momentum next week, and kind of hope for this. It doesn't last if you can get on a roll. So just to be like right, of course.
So, have you got any big races that you've got in mind for the year, other than the series and things like that? Have you got anything specifically that you're like, and Williamston? Have you got anything specifically in mind that you're like, I'm going to this race?
Yeah. So like the Go Nationals and the American Dream Race, Providence. All of those are big events that I look every year. Um, the Big O, especially, even though I don't run open class, it's cool to see every those run. Um, that's a really class, handling all the horsepower and everything. Um, but we run the limited stuff. That's always fun. Um, just because of keys that's held by the same way are races that I look.
So I see your shirt you got on there, AY. So I kind of figured the Big O was going to be on that radar when you said it. So, is there? I know for you, you guys have been around so long. You kind of have your own style. Colin kind of jumped right in the middle of everything that was going on. So he didn't really have. He kind of just was like, I'm learning on the fly and doing what I can. But what was it like for you guys to have like to bring somebody in and like Colin and be like, we'll teach you, we'll show you, and we'll help you in any way we can. Was it like one of those things where you were like, I really think a lot of Colin, and I really wanted to see him do well, or was it just like, you know, he's he's somebody that we can teach?
Yeah, I mean, so a little bit of both. Um, so he was friends. I'm sure he said how he got to start racing. He was friends with Dylan Brockwell. Um, After his passing, Colin wanted to get into it, so I grew up racing. He was always a buddy of mine, so uh, being a Colin into it, and some would when he was first getting it. Um, he was actually been as a car, needed to borrow my. So after that, I just looked at him like I could teach. I wanted to be good at work, whatever to make it possible for him. So I was definitely wanting to do it. Uh, so it's teaching him to how I do things, uh, being able to see, use it and be really cool to see.
Yeah, I know it's a different thing when you're watching somebody that you had a hand in showing kind of the way to do things, and because they're not learning from so many people. It's like I had a big hand in why this person is being the way they are, or why they're driving the way they are, or why they're as good as the way as they are. So I know you don't think like that arrogantly, but you're like, it's more rewarding when you watch somebody else do well. And I think for you guys, it's been so rewarding watching Colin that it's almost like watching your kid grow up and turn into a athlete, superstar athlete or something. You're
That's,
like, you're just a stud. Why did I ever doubt it?
that's right.
So we got about one more minute on here. I wanted to ask you: is there anything that you could give a piece of advice to kids that are coming into the world of racing, or people that are just coming into the world of racing, whether it's karting, cars, drag racing, I don't care what it is there a piece of advice that you would give, as long as you've been racing? I'm sure you've had a lot of advice given to you, but is there something that you could pass on to people that would give them maybe a little bit, not of hope, but of somewhere to start?
Yeah. I mean, I think just learning how everything works is the biggest thing. Be as involved, learn as much as you can. Ask many questions, even what questions to ask something. Kind of ask what's going on. Why someone's doing something. Just be as involved in, not necessarily, or has the experience, kind of knows what they're doing. Everyone's kind of got things, so you don't have to their style. Just learn point successful and bridge right there. Um, but definitely as much as huge knowledge that you can helpful to yourself, you can be helpful to other people, um, and that's always cool.
Yeah, I think it's great that you guys are helping out junior drivers, and I've mentioned it in the past. People, I love when I see people that have been around a long time or are really good at what they do, helping out junior drivers. And I have a lot of respect, and I think very highly of Colin James. So I like that you guys work with him so much, and I think that you guys have made a huge impact on him. And
Yeah,
I just wanted to say, keep doing what you're doing, all of you.
yes,
And
sir.
it's a really cool process to watch all of you guys, and especially working with junior drivers. Even when Colin comes up and he outruns you, guess what? You showed Mr. James how to do a lot of the stuff that he's doing.
That's right. Yeah,
So
that's fun.
it is. So I think that's going to be it, Ryan. I really appreciate you coming on here, and I mentioned to you and to Colin about doing some live in person interviews sometime. So maybe for round two, I can start doing some live interviews with people, since COVID's kind of leveling off. People are getting, little shots and however. But I think that'd be something fun to do, and you don't have to worry about much with, when you're doing live interview. You don't have to test. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. So
That's right.
just stay open for me, man. I'll get you back on here. All right.
All right, that works.
All right. Thanks for coming on, and good luck whatever you guys run. And I'll see you guys around the racetrack. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Bye. All right. So that was a pretty good one. I like that. I learned a lot, actually, from those two, listening to the things they said. And you can really take any advice from either one of those two. And they've been around really great people. And Ryan and Tim, the brothers, they've been around so many different people. So any advice that they can give is great advice. But I think all in all, that either one of those two guys, they're doing great work. They're working with kids, and they're doing great on their own. They're doing great as a team. So I think this was a great episode overall. And before I get off of here, I have to announce our first guest for next week. And I see you, Cole. I saw you commenting. He's not on this coming week. So our first guest for next week is Miss Taylor Johnson. We had her dad on here, Doug. I asked him. I don't think I really asked him too much about Taylor. I asked him a little bit, but not much. So we'll get a little bit from Taylor about what it's like for her being around racing, and how she's kind of come up and things like that. So I'm excited to get to talk to her, and we'll see what happens. So you guys got to tune in next week. Thanks everybody that's watched. Thanks for the likes. Go ahead and share the video, things like that. But you gotta share so more people can see it, so we can get better people on here and better views. And like Ryan and Colin on here, that was a great one. I love that. But we want everybody to get the views, like that. You're getting the attention that you deserve. This is me trying to promote you guys, so I need your help. But thank you guys for watching so much, and I'll see you, most of you, around the racetrack here very soon.